If you're just starting out with investing in 2025, you might be wondering, what are the best ETFs to buy? There are thousands of funds out there, all claiming to be the best choice, but the truth is, not all ETFs are created equal. So today, I'm breaking down the 4 best ETFs for beginners, explaining their goals, why they work, and whether you should lump sum invest or dollar cost average into them. Let's get into it. Exchange traded funds, ETFs, are the best ways for beginners to invest. They give you instant diversification, lower fees compared to mutual funds, and require little to no effort to manage. But here's the problem. There are so many choices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Should you go for a total market return ETF, a dividend ETF, or a growth focused ETF? I've narrowed it down to 4 ETFs that cover the core foundation of a strong beginner portfolio. The biggest challenge beginners face is the paralysis by analysis. They overthink their decisions, waiting for the perfect moment to invest. Some ETFs focus on growth but can be volatile. Others focus on dividends but they might not grow as fast. And some promise safety but at the cost of lower returns. The good news is you don't have to choose just one. By combining the right ETFs, you can build a diversified, beginner-friendly portfolio that grows over time without stressing about stock picking. Let's dive into the 4 best ETFs for beginners in 2025. The first one is going to be VTI, the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. The goal is to own a small piece of every publicly traded company in the United States. Why it's great is you get instant diversification with over 4,000 stocks in just one ETF. For people who are long-term investors who want a broad exposure to the market, this is perfect for you. The pros of this ETF: it has a low expense ratio and steady growth. The potential downside is it is heavily weighted in big companies like Apple and Microsoft, which can slow down in the future. The next ETF is going to be SCHD, the Charles Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. The goal of this ETF is to generate consistent dividend income while still growing your money. It is great because it focuses on high quality dividend paying stocks like Pepsi, Home Depot, and Amgen. For investors who want passive income from dividends while still seeing long-term growth, this is the ETF for you. It has a 3 to 4% dividend yield with solid historical performance and dividend growth. The potential downsides of this ETF is that it might underperform during fast bull markets since it prioritizes stability over growth. Our third ETF is going to be QQQ, the Invesco NASDAQ 100 ETF. The goal of this ETF is to invest in the 100 biggest non-financial tech-focused companies in the United States. Why it's great is because it has exposure to fast-growing companies like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Google. For investors who believe in long-term tech growth and can handle volatility, this is perfect for you. The pros of this ETF is that it has outperformed the S&P 500 historically with strong growth. The downside is there is more risk due to heavy reliance on a few large tech companies. Our fourth and last stock is going to be VXUS, which is the Vanguard Total International Stock ETF. The goal of this ETF is to diversify beyond the United States by investing in the global markets. It holds over 7,000 stocks across Europe, Asia, and emerging markets. For investors who want exposure to markets outside the United States, this is the ETF for you. This ETF is great because it reduces reliance on United States stocks and has long-term growth potential. The potential downside is that international markets can lag behind the US at times. Now that we've gone over 4 of the best ETFs for beginners, you might be wondering, should you invest all at once, known as a lump sum, or spread it out over time, which is known as dollar cost averaging? Lump sum investing tends to outperform over the long run because your money spends more time in the market. However, dollar cost averaging helps reduce risks by spreading purchases over time, which is great if you're nervous about market drops. If you have a large amount of cash ready to invest, studies have shown that lump sum investing usually wins. But if you're investing smaller amounts regularly, dollar cost averaging is also the way to go. To recap, VTI is the best ETF for broad US market exposure, SCHD is the best for dividends and passive income, QQQ is the best for growth and tech exposure, and VXUS is the best for international diversification. No matter which ETF you choose, the most important thing is to start investing early and stay consistent. Do you own any of these ETFs? Let me know in the comments.